This is a Can-Am 700 Outlander, the Outlander Pro, and it's a 2023 model. I grew up on a lot of the Hondas back in the day, the old Foremans, and things that you just couldn't destroy. We still have some, and I just haven't ran a lot of four-wheelers since we've had those Defenders. But anyways, with all that said, let's get this unloaded. This is gonna be on the farm for a little while. You guys are gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. I got plans for it. Let's rip. First job for the Outlander. We have a missing dog. Like I was on a vacation, we were dog sitting, and Howie, their black lab, vanished. Dad's out looking for him in the Defender Max, so hopefully they found it. But I'm gonna jump on the Outlander and let's go just drive around the country and see if we can find this dog. All right, 50 horsepower. Let's go. Where do I put my hat? How do you do this? You flip them up like that. There we go. Perfect. Hat goes in there. Haven't worn one of these in a while. Oh boy. Glasses work? Oh yeah, perfect. Anytime I ride an ATV or a motorcycle, I helmet up. You guys don't know, I've had some serious accidents back in the day. About killed myself on a four-wheeler. And broken an arm, all kinds of stuff. So I just don't take chances. I've had 3 or 4 concussions in my life and they were bad. So, helmet up. Here's our key. Put that on there. Turn the switch to the go. And have to press the brake. There we go. Looks like we need some gas. Go get some. Somebody, here Howie's, showed up. Turns out he was sleeping in the backyard all afternoon, and we were calling for him, and he was in a deep sleep, and he didn't come out. So we spent 2 hours driving around the farm in four-wheelers and side-by-sides looking for that dog. Mav knew where he was, but he wouldn't tell us. Huh, Maverick? Yeah, good boy. Howie and Mav, best friends.
Well, good morning, everybody. You see this Can-Am Outlander? It's pretty, isn't it? I'm gonna go take it and go help a buddy of mine move some cattle. So it's getting closer to winter, and they have this big, vast area that they let the cattle graze. And when winter gets there, or gets closer, they try to round them up, get them close to the yard, and then they'll start feeding them bales because it gets so brutal in the wintertime, and it's gonna be tough on them. So he needs some help moving them, and that is the perfect toy to go move some cattle. And I definitely need this because the terrain is pretty intense. It's a very beautiful day, and you're probably wondering why is it so beautiful? Because they didn't turn on the fan. Yeah, there's a couple of these big fans around here, you know? Pretty cool. Oh yeah, gorgeous country. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's cows way down there. And this might not look very steep, but it goes way down like this. A lot of ravines. And we gotta go way out that direction. So we're gonna go get those things. towards them, is they're gonna run them that way?
Yeah, we'll want
So should we go back down here?
No, we'll go around them that way. We should be able to cut them off. I don't care where they cross here. They'll probably go to the water. And if they go to the water for now, we can go look around.
Okay. Might not look like it, but that's pretty much a drop off right there. If I drove off that, I would roll the four-wheeler and probably die. And then you guys would see my funeral, so let's not do that. Over here though, found some cattle. I'm gonna call that one there Snuffy, that one Leroy, and Jenkins is somewhere around here. So what I'm doing here is I'm scanning to see if there's any cattle in the bottom of these ravines, because we don't want any of them to be left behind. That'd be kind of an inconvenience for them. So I'm just going to drive around the top of this. Beautiful country. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous country. From my understanding, there's a couple like Yogi Bears around here too. I don't think they're as friendly as Yogi Bear, and I don't have a picnic basket, but gorgeous country. Wow, absolutely phenomenal. So we split up, my buddy and I, and he took one ravine, and I'm going to take this other ravine, and then it goes to the bottom over here, and we'll join up there and see if we see anything, and then head back, get the other cattle. There's only about half of them of what we found. But so far I'm seeing nothing on the bottom. So if I wasn't careful like this right here, could have smacked myself. Oh yeah. There we go. Like a boss. After about close to 60 miles we put on the four-wheelers, we finally got them to this reservoir, and that's where he wants them, so that's where they're staying. And they've got bales and bales over there for their wintertime food, you know, so they're good. Okay, we're done. That was fun.
So I wasn't sure if I was going to hunt this year. I decided last minute, season just opened up. It's the last of the nice weather, so I grabbed my goodies, and I'm just out in some of our land right now, and there's supposedly a giant running around here. And I've heard he's still around, so I'm going to see if I can find him. I just spotted a group of them. Just went over the top of the hill. Not a very big buck. There's 2 little bucks and 2 does. Could be in there somewhere with them. Those big bucks usually don't just wander around like that. Usually they're laying down somewhere, so I'm just going to keep following them and see where they go. And meanwhile, Glass, the coolie's down. He could be hiding in any of these little draws in and out of here, if he's still here. And at the end of the day, decide I don't want to hunt anymore. I might just take one of them and put meat in the freezer, because this year I don't have much time. So this hunting expedition is not going to be real long. So let's see what happens, guys. I'll show you my goodies. Thunder Beast on a 26-inch barrel on a Desert Tech SRS platform with a Viper PST on top. Shooting 260 Remington. Let's get her done. The only downside, I forgot my rangefinder, so the long shots I'm not going to be taking, but anything under 400 I should be able to figure out pretty easy. Above that, haven't been practicing in a while, so we'll see. All right, let's get to it. As you guys can probably tell, I'm filming with my cell phone because I didn't feel like bringing a camera. So you're going to have to deal with the shaky camera. Sorry. It's okay. He'll survive. I don't know if I will, though. It bugs me. There's my nemesis. I do not like those because I usually put my knee in one every year. Let's try not to do that. That hurts really bad. There's the group that I'm following. See that deer in the distance there? I'm shaking really bad. I'm sorry. That's the doe, I think, right there, the little buck. The other 3 are with them, just over the hilltop there. I'll carefully go over the top of this crest here and glass. Let's see what's happening. There's the small buck. He's not very big, as you can see. Barely ears width. That's how you judge a mule deer, is how wide their antlers are. Their ears, when they spread their ears out, roughly is 24 inches wide. Maybe 26 on a big deer. I don't know. That's pretty big, though. So he's no more than 22 inches wide, 23. So not a big mule deer. I mean, I would take him if that's all there was. But there's a giant in here somewhere that could be pushing 30 inches. And if that's the case, I'm going to let that guy go. There's the group I'm following. There's actually 5 of them. The buck's in the middle right there. He's big body. Be a good eating deer. I see his left antler's got a couple tines broke off of it. But he's not a big deer. It looks like the 3 does are in the front, and then there's a little buck in the back there. So we're just kind of watching. This is fun. Very relaxing. I don't know where they're going, but I'm really hoping they're taking me to the big dog. We'll see. You know, they say for hunting, animals, number one thing they spot is movement. You could wear a clown suit, but as long as you're staying still, they don't care. It's as soon as they see you move that they get alarmed. And there's a doe, the lead doe. She spotted me 3 different times. And as soon as I realized she had a beat on me, I just froze. And then one time it took probably 1.5 minutes of me staying still, crouched in a weird position. And then eventually she deemed that I was not a threat, and she went back to walking with casual struts and not seemed alarmed at all. But if I would have sat down immediately as soon as I realized she saw me, they would have bolted. And then they probably would have scared the buck that I'm trying to get. So it goes to show, sometimes it's best just, if you're spotted, just stay put. And they might, as soon as they turn their head, then drop to the deck. That's what I did. I think we're in the right spot. Oh yeah, looks like some peas in there. Yep, we feed our deer high protein diets. I hope they enjoy the hail. Lots of food on the ground for them. Look at this. No way. Look at that. Huh. These look kind of like a pair that I had a long time ago, but I don't think they are. Well, I found someone's long-lost binoculars. I can't see a brand on them. It's got a serial number, but, well, do they still work? I'll remember that's at. I'm gonna put that on a rock. I just hit the deck. I watched those deer. Had a couple coulees over, and I thought I was clear, and all of a sudden I came over the top here, and there's 2 or 3 does just right in this coulee right in front of me. The buck could be with them, I don't know. But they're not moving, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Right over the edge here, I can't see them. I might have to, I don't know, backtrack a little bit, I think, and try to get an angle from a different distance. We'll see here.
Well, I checked all this area, no big buck. Definitely found some deer. That group that I was following, I ended up spooking them. They didn't move, they laid down, and I had to go through there, so. But could have had meat today, but it was early in season. We'll try again another day. Maybe I'll bring a better camera. All right, until then, I did want to show something really cool here. I don't know if you can see it well, but see this circle of rocks here? See that? How it goes around and they're kind of spread around, but this here, the ancient remains of Native American teepee rings. They use rocks and they pile them in circles like that for their teepees when they set up their camps following the bison around. We got quite a few of them around our property. It's pretty cool to see that. Just know that there was people living on these prairies like that. Wild, absolutely wild. All right, where was I? All right, here we go, keys on. Yeah, let's roll.
So, I got a confession to make. 5 years ago, we built the Big Brute. And then we've been working on it and upgrading it and doing all sorts of things. And in those 5 years, I've never sprayed with it. know, right? I was halfway to 10 years to not spray with it, but I finally got convinced to spray with it. And you know, it's not that I was trying to avoid it like deliberately, it's just there was always stuff going on, and it's like, oh, I got this taken care of, I'll take care of this, I'll fix this, I'll work on this. And Nick would just spray with the Brute, and then Dad would spray with the Brute, and I just never sprayed with the Brute. And well, yesterday was my first day of spraying with Brute. So for about 2 hours I played with it, learned a little bit of it. It's pretty advanced. There's a lot going on with dual monitors right here and a bunch of other things, but that being said, I'm spraying. So my yeah, I don't know, 5 years, isn't that something? All that time and effort working on this Brute and all the fabricating and everything, yeah, it took me 5 years to finally drive it and spray with it. Well, I've driven it around the yard and I know how to operate it, just not how to spray with it. But anyways, oh, that's kind of cool. Here, let's tap the cruise control off real quick. Let's put it in neutral. I think I just saw something that I should probably pick up. It's parts of a bowling ball. Yeah, that one didn't make it. All fun and games. Phew, that was a bad idea. Okay, let's start spraying.
Well, what we're doing right now is spraying the crop we took off. As you can see along here, after we've removed the crop, the kochia, the weeds, take advantage of no more cover, and we had a light shower, you know, over a tenth or so, and that's just enough to really activate them, and they're starting to grow. And if it's going to be a late fall, as far as temperature, they'll keep growing and they'll set a lot of seeds. So what I'm doing right now is burning them down, and that way that they won't go to seed, so that it'll be a lot cleaner next year. Some of the best chemical that you can have when you're farming is water. You're going, what? Doesn't that feed the weeds? You know, the plants that you don't want? Well, if you get water and enough of it, the crop out there will get thick enough to block out those young weeds as it's growing and will choke them out. And some of the area where we had gotten on our north stuff had gotten a little bit more rain. It was just banded up there. Came in close to the average crop. There was hardly any weeds. As we come down into this area, where this also had hail last year, which took the cover off, which then the weeds grew. We couldn't do a whole lot because the crop was still growing, and it just produced a lot of weeds. So this is spraying after harvest spraying. I got Kobe with me. Hi, Kobe. Yeah. He loves seeding, spraying, and harvest. Well, and riding on the side of the Can-Am side by side. Loves that too.
You know, sitting here in the big Brute and spraying with it is awesome. I don't know why it took me so long to finally spray in this Brute, because it's literally awesome. Like, rides smooth, it's got tons of power, the fuel doesn't hardly burn. I mean, it's just sweet. And with these big 120-foot booms, you get a lot done. Even going at like 10.5 mile an hour, 11 at the very most, you get a lot done. It's pretty sweet. And finally understanding the combination of these monitors and how to run this thing, it's actually not too bad. It's pretty complex at first because there's a lot going on, because they're trying to talk with each other, and yeah, they don't like each other very well. But they got to get along, let's put it that way.
Well, as I'm walking over to the sprayer, I am gonna go load up and run over and coat some more of those enemy that green fluffy enemy. So anyway, but Kobe saw me walking over here. Where's Kobe? Let's find Kobe. Where could Kobe be? Uh-oh. A tail gives it away. Where you want, huh? You want in there? Is that where you want? Okay. Oh no, I got some things in my hand. All right, here we go. You ready? Want to go? Want up there? Okay, let's go. Can you climb? He used to be able to, well, he can do it. He just, he's kind of lazy like me. All right, up the ladder. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Okay, all right. Okay, put that, get ready. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. One more. Okay, now I got to get the door open. There we go. What do you think? Happy? I wish I was that happy climbing into the sprayer. All right, let's get her started.
So I'm spraying, and I stopped it because there's a duck over here acting like it's hurt, which means there's eggs somewhere. So if I get out, I bet you anything, it'll probably fly away. Unless it's actually hurt, but... Look at that. You doing okay, bud? Huh. Well, isn't that cool? That's pretty sweet. Here we go. Is that better? Oh, his heartbeat's racing. You doing okay, bud? Well, you don't look hurt. I think it's just a young one. Boy, it's soft. It really is soft. That's awesome. I'm gonna name it Steve. Little Stevie here. And if Stevie's a girl, I'm sorry. Pretty cool. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's a young one. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Is that a coyote? Willie the coyote gave Kobe the slip. I think he ran along this edge and ran right along here and then ended up out that way by the time Kobe got there. So, all right, I'm gonna look at a couple things and I'll have to try to get him so I can get back and fill up. Adventures on the prairie, where the deer and the coyotes are chased. Not the deer, rabbits.
You know, everybody has a past, and that past usually defines who you are. Now, the choices you make are going to be good or bad, and I hope that because the choices I made when I was younger has blessed me and has blessed my family, and I know it has. I know it has blessed my family. So growing up, I was homeschooled till 9th grade. I was very dyslexic. I could barely read a 4-letter word when I graduated high school. And so I didn't have a very high self-esteem of myself. I felt like I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't able to do the things that everybody else was supposed to do. And for whatever reason, my mind just would not click. I couldn't seem to remember spelling and sounding out words, and I did phonics like multiple times. I hate phonics, by the way. It's horrible. And for me, it was horrible. So there was just a lot of things that I dealt with, and growing up, there's one thing that I knew I was good at was Legos. Crazy, right? I loved Legos. Because I could take the Legos and be creative. I could find new ways of putting things together, and you know, it was one thing that I knew I could do. And I think a lot of that has helped me when I was from such a young age today, because I found a confidence that I can build things. And that's something that at a young age I think you really need, is confidence. Well, then as I was growing up, I would go over to the shop and watch my dad work, and I'd want to be on the tractors, and I want to be in the trucks, and you know, I was always trying to apply myself, and I was always trying to, you know, and I was the kind of kid that would clean the house and vacuum and like try to be very helpful. And I found that to try to be useful was my way of saying, you know, I matter. I can do something that's good. And going back to the farm, I always look at my dad and say, like, how is he able to do all these things? How is he able to weld and fix and fabricate, and how does he know how to do this? And I was always like scared and terrified. I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm never going to be able to make that happen. I really try to excel and work with my hands and like fix things. And my dad gave me a lot of freedom. But he wasn't necessarily there to hold my hand on everything I did. A lot of times when I would like ask him, like, how do you do this? He'd be like, okay, that, and he'd walk away. And he's like, figure it out, you know, and he wasn't really there to really help me. And the difference with me is I knew it wasn't going to get done unless I tried to do it. And I was terrified. I didn't think, there was multiple times like, I can't do this. And I'd almost like have a nervous breakdown because like, how can I do this? I'm not capable of, but I would still push forward. Well, when I got to high school, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but one of the guys that was a teacher in ag, or not ag, but into the mechanics, he was more of a woodworking guy and not necessarily that skilled in mechanics. So when I came along, he kind of recognized that I had the diligence to keep doing things on my own, and so he kind of just let me do my own thing. And he didn't tell me to work hard. He didn't have to watch my shoulder. And a lot of times he was like, "Hey Scott, teach these other kids how to pull a motor apart." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll show you how to do this." And so there was a lot of confidence that I had in that. And then I started finding new projects and new things, and I was very interested in motors, and then I would do welding. And so all of this stuff that I was applying myself in has blessed me so much now. And not only just what I could do, but the mentality that I have. How can I bless my family? So yeah, it was a very interesting life that I grew up in, and it's not that, I don't know, it was a lot of self choices that I made. And now what's crazy is I'm here showing what we do on this farm. I'm able to create and build things, and you guys are able to tag along, and it has been such a humbling experience for me, because there's so many more skilled people out there, so many more talented people that don't have a camera on them that you could learn so much from. And for whatever reason, the spotlight is on Welker Farms, and I want to make sure that when we show you something, it's not more of to brag and say, hey, look what we can do, look what we got. It's more like, hey, this is what we do, this is what we take, you know, this is how we do it, and there's a problem, let's figure it out, let's get this figured out, because it ain't gonna fix itself. And a lot of times we're not able to just pay dealerships to come in and fix our own stuff, because that's a very expensive thing, especially with dry years like this. You got to be careful on how much money you spend. So we've learned to be very self-efficient, and we've paid for our tools, and they've blessed us tremendously. We've learned a lot of things of what not to do, I'll tell you that. That's for sure. But you know, it's everybody has a gift, and I want you to think about, how are you blessing your gifts with everybody else? How are you able to share what you can bring to the table to help other people? Because there's areas in your life that you are going to struggle in, that you're not going to be good at, and be honest, you might not ever be good at. But there's other people that come in your life that are good at those areas, that are able to complement you, and you can take and I truly believe your greatest strength is your greatest weakness, because because if you recognize what your weakness is and you recognize that you need to work on that and you need to get stronger and build that and strengthen that, you will overcome so much, because whatever you do the most, you're going to get better at. And that's something that is not just given, it's earned. And honestly, the mentality that we have today is we think that we deserve, that we have to have, and it's not that, it's we have to earn it. And when you earn it with the tears and the sweat and the frustrating moments in life, later on you're like, wow, I appreciate this so much. It is so incredible. I am so thankful for these moments because I've gone through so many struggles. And then in that moment, you appreciate, and I'll tell you guys that it's a very humbling situation. So humility is a huge part to play, and I struggle with that, and I'm working on it. And but anyways, yeah, that's a long ramble, but that's a little bit about my backstory.